Right. I'd like you to reflect on families and their role in employment. And clearly, many of us over the years, if not all of us, have had experiences working with families, many very, very good experiences, some a little less that have you scratching your head. But if you look at the discovery process within customised employment, families are an integral part of it. If you think about each of us as individuals, as we were growing up, where did we get our social capital from? It came from our families and the family networks. And that's a real key thing. And as we've sort of moved along a little bit further, and you reflect on the discovery process, where do we start? We start with a discussion with the family, and then eventually we start the process in the family home. And then from there, after also working with the individual, we also go and meet the extended family, the neighbours and the uncles, the aunties, the cousins. So if you start to think about it like that, family is an important part of the process. It never goes away. But, often I think to myself, what are families actually looking for? What are they really looking for? Yes, it's easy to say, well, they want us to assist their child to become independent, to find employment, and to lead a normal life in the community. But there's something a bit deeper than that. And this is, something that we need to think about. So what I want to do is I want to read something to you, and then I want to discuss that a little bit with you. So this is a quote from a family, a direct from a family. And this family have written, "In our family, it's important that we support each other in times of need and joy. We are willing to share our personal priorities with service providers and professionals because we think that as they understand our family's priorities, they can understand what we expect from our family to support their child." Or in this case, the child's name I've left out. "This will enhance her quality of life and everyone can work as a team. We believe that working in services that support people with disabilities must show a caring attitude, but also set goals and expectations with rewards. They should work as a team with our family. We believe that a service or a support works when they are competent, when there are accountable staff who are willing to be candid, empathic, and accessible. Staff also need to be aware and implement goals in cooperation with our family." Now, the authors of this particular article have written, "Each of these personal accounts is unique and speaks to the experience of one person or one family. Yet there are some strands that unite them. People who experience disability, either personally or through someone they care about, want those who provide human services to listen to them. Listening means attending carefully to what is said as well as what is meant, seeing actions as a way of communicating, and most profoundly processing the spirit of taking other people seriously." Now, if you think about that, they go on a little bit further and they say, "Listening is an essential building block to achieving quality in services. It's been identified by many award-winning companies as crucial to their success." Now, if you look at the discovery process, really it's a listening tour. One of the things that service provision hasn't done particularly well over decades now, and it's changing, but back when I worked in the DES system, one of the things that they didn't do is they didn't listen to the families. Primarily, they listened to the client, and often because of the inexperience or a lack of real understanding of disability by staff, they only heard what they wanted to hear. They didn't hear what the client was really saying. So for me, it circles back to the fact that what are we trying to achieve with discovery? What are we trying to achieve with families? Well, what we're trying to achieve is we want their insights. We need their support. We need their social capital. It's the only way our journey will be successful is if we partner with the family. The family is not the enemy. There are many organizations that believe that that the client is the client and the family is just someone on the side, and they're not going to talk to the family or really interact with the family. But that's a mistake. Because at the end of the day, the family is your ally. They are key to the process of engaging in employment. Because if you think about it, if a family has a well-developed network of social capital, then they're going to provide avenues and entrees to employers that you're not going to get to. You might be able to knock on the door of the employer, but if the family, through their social capital, actually know the owner or have a cousin or whatever who works there, well, guess what? The disability proposition disappears because now, you're looking after Billy's cousin. Yeah, come on in, we can have a talk because, he's a great guy. So there's a whole range of things, and that might sound a little bit flippant, but at the end of the day, there's a range of factors that support our engagement with families. And I would say to you that when we look at the work that we do in our delivery of employment services using Discovery, the family are integral. The family are there all the time, and so they should be. The family are the constant in the client's life, not us. If you think about it, if we do our job correctly, we're only in the client's life for a short period of time. We're just a bit like the shop that opened down the road that they patronised for a few years and then it disappeared. That's who we are. And yes, we will make friends of the clients, we will make friends with the families, but at the end of the day, the family is the continuous factor in the client's life, not us. So when I reflect back again on the discovery process and how we engage with families, what are we trying to do? We're here on a listening tour. We're here to listen, to be empathic, to take a lead from them, and to leverage their connections in the community as part of the employment process, as part of the process of understanding who the client is. And that to me is the key part of the exercise. Families are not the enemy. And yes, part of the process of engaging the families might be filled with a little bit of trepidation, but a lot of that trepidation on the family side comes from the fact that over decades, the system has promised them all sorts of things and invariably fail. So they will come to it with a very high safety and security factor. They want to protect their child from service providers who promise the world and deliver nothing. So it's a really key thing also when you undertake the discovery process. Before you undertake the discovery process, you invest time with the family to educate them in the process. What's going to happen? How does it work? What's their involvement? How we will support the family. So for the family, for us, it's about listening. It's also about, if you think about it, what are we trying to do? We want to educate the family. A very, very key thing. We need to educate the family and we need to listen to them. So they're the key ingredients, education and listening. And take the family along on the journey with you. Invest as much time as you have to. As a matter of fact, that investment continues ad infinitum, because the other thing about working with our clients is that almost always the clients we work with, we're going to have some support staff. We need to educate them as well, because they're your natural supports. They will be there long after we are, and they can enhance the discovery process and the employment journey. So reflect on that. Think about that. Are you doing that now? If not, why not? Has you had some bad experience with families? If you have, reflect on why that happened. What was that bad experience? How did you resolve it? Did you resolve it? And if you didn't, why not? So have a think about this, and think about it from the perspective that it's about listening, it's about education, and then it's about engagement on the journey. Think about those things, and let's reflect on this when we get together on Friday. Let's discuss this, because as far as I'm concerned, if you don't engage with the family, if you don't listen, if the family are not part of the process invariably will fail. Okay? Let's have a think about it, and we'll discuss it when we meet again on Friday.